you guys understand the formulas in different formats. This is for explicit. Explicit, you are not going to split up the step length into half. Okay, explicit, you are not splitting it into half. For explicit, you always have yn plus 1 equals to yn plus just the step length times this function of x and y. This function will always be given to you in the question. Step length will also be given to you. Then you set your n to be equals to 0. Y not to be given to you from the initial value problem, which is the initial condition. Then you have to just find a shift in n. That's all. So, but for implicit, it's always equals to. So you guys understand which one is for explicit and which one is for implicit. Because at times, one no exam only log by g. Okay, I be you told you divide with half. Show an implicit. So you guys they very conscious with that. So for the implicit, you guys split this up into half. The step length will be divided into 2. So you also have the same thing, which is just this same Sn, yn, but you must still add it with a shift in that n. This one will be xn plus 1, yn plus 1. That's just the difference. The difference is that you break this into half, then you add f of x. This is just n. Let it take the next term for the value n. That's n plus 1. Show you graph. So whatever I've written here is for what? It's for implicit true. It's for implicit. So let's just take a question. If for instance, I have a question there which says that we should solve y prime equals 3x plus y. 3x plus y, show you graph. So where y naught is equals to 1, then what happens? We are given x is a member of 0, 0.1, 0.3. Do you know how to interpret this? I have to interpret this for you. Taylor series is when we in Taylor series we need to go and find y prime. In this case, we are not differentiating anything. Differentiate cocoon. And to just the substitute they go. So in this case now, the solution to this one now, you must be able to interpret this one. First is this is our IVP, our initial value problem or initial condition. You have to interpret what is your x naught, Abi, and what is your what? Y naught. That's the first thing. So my x naught is 0, my initial point for y is what? 1. So you must be able to interpret this one too. You started from 0, you must end at what? 3. 0.3. Okay, while this one here is always our step length. This shows the step length for x to move from 0 to what? 0.3 units. Show you graph. So that means I'm taking how many steps here? 3 steps or so. But each step takes 0.1. 0.1. Show you graph. I'm starting from 0. So I actually explain what I said before you start at all. You guys draw an horizontal. You guys draw the x-axis line such that you indicate the point for these members. X is a member of x starts from 0. Okay, show you graph. Then what is step length? 0.1. So I'm taking how many steps? I think 3 steps. 0.2. Where will I stop? 0.3. So you guys label each point. You call this one your x naught. You call this one your what? X1. No, now x axis now. This one are what? X2. Why this one are what? X3. So you guys do 3. In fact, all this before you stop. So initially looking at this, x naught is 0, which is still the same thing. It's always tally. Show you graph. You don't write y1 here and then you're not seeing 0 here. You don't feel work that way. Okay, so you guys tally the initial point and this one. You guys tally. If this one are 1, I'm very sure say the question will say x is a member of 1. You get my point? Then 0.1, then maybe another value here. So I want to start with x naught. So whatever you have to do now is after you have indicated your point for x for this member given to you, then you now recall I need to be formula your father. Okay, let's say solve this thing explicit. Use explicit method. Explicit inner method. So that means I'll write out the formula yn plus 1 equals to what? Yn plus just the step length. In explicit we don't split up the step length, okay? And then you just have f of what? Xn, yn. So you now used to do now first iteration when your n is 0. When my n is 0, I have what? Y of 0 plus 1, that's y1, Abi, equals y naught, right? Plus, what's your step length?
0.1.
Nice one. 0.1. Open a bracket. F of what? X naught, comma y naught. Do you know what is your f of x, comma y? This is my y prime is always equals to whatever I have here is a function, right? It's in terms of how many variables? 2 variables, which is what? X, comma y. So if I'm looking for f of x naught, y naught, that means this becomes what? X naught. This becomes what? Y naught. But just shoot. I already know my y naught. What's my y naught? 1. I want to substitute that one. Okay. So this is my f of x naught, y naught. I'll now write it as okay. My y1 is equals to y naught plus step length times f of x naught, comma y naught. When your n is 0, that's what we have. So I said my y naught is given to us as 1 plus my step length is 0.1. Abi? So what's my f of x naught, comma y naught? That's what I'm looking for. But I want to look for f of x naught, comma y naught. But I know, but we believe that f of x, comma y is equals to what? 3x. What was the question? 3x plus y. Abi? 3x plus y. So if I want to look for f of x naught, comma y naught, this is just like a function. That is wherever you see x, you put x naught. Wherever you see y, you put y naught. That's 3x naught plus what? Y naught. I remember that my x naught, either from this axis or you're checking it from here, is still what? My x naught is still 0. Okay? So my x naught now 0 for here. What's my y naught? 1. So I think this should give us what? 1 straight up. Exactly. So what happens? My y1 is equals to 1 plus 0.1 times the whole of this one like this is equals to what? 1. My final answer is what? 1 plus 0.1, and that's equals to what?
2.1. Okay.
That's 1.1. That's 1.1. That's just our y1. Okay?
And then let's
So,
y3.
We need 3 more steps. So you go for your second iteration again. When your n is what? 1. And 0 I used before. When your n is 1, we call from the formula for explicit, which says yn plus 1 equals to yn plus h. You're familiar with that formula now? X and y. So when your n is 1, you have the next shift. This is where we stop. 1 plus 1. Now we need y2. Okay? Y2 now will be equals to y. My n is 1. My step length will be at 0.1. This becomes f of x1, comma what? Comma y1. So my y1 that I got is previously was what? 1.1, right? Plus 0.1. So whatever I just have to do is my f of x1, I don't want to write it out again. x1 is what? What's your x1? That's why I say you should have drafted this out so that you don't be confused. My x1 is now what?
0.1.
0.1. That means you just come here from this your f of x, comma y. This becomes x1 y1. My x1 is what? 0.1. Your y1 will now be what? Okay, it seems I have to just put that down. F of x1 y1 is 3x1 plus y1. Do you agree with that? 1.1 plus 0.1. So just substitute. That's 3 times. What's my x1? From that number line, 0.1. Why my y1 remain as what? 1.1. So you guys punch this into calculator straight up. So I have shade the grabber. Will you check out my 0.1 times 3 times 0.1 plus 1.1. So that's 1.24.
I almost get them.
Y2 is equals to 1.24. So this one don't stand too. I still need like 2 more steps to go. Have you know? So you have to do for when n is equals to 2 also. Have you? previously it was n equals to 1, n equals to 2. So that's by the formula. This is what we have as the formula for explicit, f of x n comma y n. I will not do the last one. This is just where I will stop. Y of, when n is 2, I have y3 equals y what? Y2, n is 2. Step length 0.1. F of x2 comma y2, right? What's my y2? 1.24. No, I think 1.24 y2, the previous one. But my f of x2 y2 will now be 3x2 plus y2, right? 3x2 plus what? Y2. So I have 1.24 plus 0.1. That's 3 of, what's your x2? And that's when you come here and check. x3 is what? 0.2. What's your y2? 1.24. Happy now? So you guys punch this into calculator straight. Whatever you get, then the last one too. And that's where you stop. I think in this kind of question, this is what they ask. You know, they just say solve, okay. Solve the, that means you have to end there. Some they will say find y of 0.3. Okay? That is the last part. So when you are done, let's say you've gotten your y4, that's for the last citation. Let's say for the last one you got 1.53. So this y4 is what they refer to as y of what? 0.3 that you are looking for. Okay? I just assume this is not the correct answer. So you just have to keep on doing the iteration until you get the final answer. Same thing goes with that of, you use the same pattern for this one too. Okay? The same pattern for this one too. You know, in this one now, just that all this step length is over 2. Abi? You go still add down. The difference is that you go still add down with this f of x 0 plus 1, Abi. 0 plus 1 like that.